Hey there, it's Manny Cabrera with Sidekicks Martial Arts and the Life Mastery Program. Hope that you are having had an amazing start to your week. I hope that your Monday was not just rewarding and fulfilling, but I hope that you was productive as well. I hope that you worked on getting some sort of fitness in. They say never miss a Monday. And I'm really excited to be on with you guys. I want to talk about. So today's topic we're talking about is does your child have a great mental diet? You know what I mean? And so I kind of want to, while I'm, kind of sharing this into a couple of different places, I want to talk about, I kind of had a couple of different things that I wanted to say regarding this today. You know what I mean? And it had a lot to do, with kind of the inputs that go into our lives and things like that. And, I was trying to think of, kind of where I wanted to start. And I really actually, while I was teaching classes today, I kind of decided that, that a great place to start would be to start where we're talking about with the kids in our Powerful Words program here at Sidekicks. And so the powerful word for the month of November, and if you're not familiar with our program, we teach an amazing martial arts program. And one of the core components of the curriculum is every single month we cover a very powerful word that is a character trait or a part of, that we want kids to aspire to work on, throughout their life. And so this month's powerful word is respect. And it is, it surrounds with, treating ourselves, and others, whether that they care, that they are, with attention and with, consideration, in all three of those things. And in the first week, we were talking about powerful, our powerful word, respect. We're talking about how we respect others, right? And so respecting others has a lot to do with, showing that, that they have our attention, that we care, and that we have our, consideration, we consider their thoughts and their feelings and their wants, when we take actions or when we move in the direction of talking to them about them. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought that was a great place to start this conversation about having a great mental diet, because the second week, last week, when we were talking about this powerful word with all of our students, it had to do with respecting ourselves. And one of the components of, besides eating healthy and exercising and all those, those typical ones, it also had a lot to do with how you talk to yourself and how you control your thoughts and your actions to, not be down on yourself to an extent that it is harmful or dangerous, in some cases. And so that's kind of where I want to start the conversation today. And so, by the way, if you have a comment, totally drop it in the comments, and I would love to talk to you and respond to you. It's totally one of my favorite things is to have dialogue with you guys. It'll be a great time. Let me just share this to a couple more places, and then we'll get cracking. And so one of the, I said, the main crux of the conversation, the conversation we had last week, had to do with how we talk. So we spend a lot of time here at Sidekicks with these different callbacks, and so that we are whenever the instructors ask you how you're doing, the students are supposed to say, "Born to win, sir." And it's not that they're trying to convince themselves that, they were, born that they never lose, or some sort of Cobra Kai thing like that. It really has a lot to do with, the first thing that comes out of their mouth shouldn't be, "Oh, fine, good, great." Just some sort of phrase that just kind of gets the conversation along. You know what I mean? And so we spend a lot of time on helping kids, with their self-talk, that if my own self-talk or their own self-talk makes such a difference in their brain, then probably the things that they're feeding themselves, the other inputs into their brain are probably also going to have a factor. So, we can call this their mental diet. And I want you to think back for just a second. And in the comment section, let me know, what was your favorite family sitcom as a kid? Like if you were old enough to remember the 80s and before, like what was your favorite family sitcom as a kid? And my personal ones, okay, so my favorite ones were Full House, Boy Meets World. I love the Golden Girls. Golden Girls is one of my favorites. And then, I know that it's not a popular one, but one of my favorite ones was also The Cosby Show. And I've actually noticed a lot that the difference between those shows and the shows that I kind of see that my kids kind of wanting to gravitate to on like Netflix or, Amazon or something like that, that those are a lot different. Like they're a lot different. And one of the things that I've noticed is that like in like The Cosby Show and in Boy Meets World and, Full House, all of those, that the parents were competent examples of adults, or sometimes really not necessarily always really great people, but they were competent examples of adult, but that they also did a really great job of guiding the kids, at least the ones that I liked. And then I kind of also noticed that like the ones that like on the Disney Channel, if you just kind of peruse those for a little bit, that like there's a lot of smart aleckness, or that the parents are completely absent, or something along those lines, or the parents are vapid or stupid, or one of those things. There's a definite difference in the input that is coming from both of those shows. Like, so sometimes I'm wondering like what is the message that my kids are actually getting from those, and this is not to be like, oh, if your kids listen to this type of music or play video games or something, like it's not that kind of a conversation. But I do notice that like but I do want to say that if you have a constant diet of something that is not necessarily adding to your life, that chances are, it will be a detractor. It's not, there's never really going to be a neutral thing in our lives. And so like, what you consume matters. And it makes sense that it would be the kind of thing that might influence us. Right. And so there's really three keys that I think that are composed of having a positive mental diet. So, the other things that would be influencing, if it wasn't, if what you watch or what you read, or on TV, then definitely the people that you're surrounding yourself are going to be a factor. Are you hanging around with people who are pushing you forward, or are you hanging around like, the same people that you went to high school with that haven't really pushed themselves beyond, beyond where they were then? They haven't grown since then. They peaked maybe, and I'm not trying to like come down, but I think that there's three keys to a great mental diet. So here are the three keys. So number one, what you tell yourself day in and day out. So that goes back to where, what I started at the beginning of this conversation with, how we do the callbacks in our martial arts program to promote positive self-talk. So our mental programming is going to create our subconscious, right? And so if something negative happens, and my immediately thought or my immediately thing that comes across my mind or comes out of my mouth is, gosh, you are so stupid, and I'm talking about myself, right? Then your brain is so powerful that it's going to continually reinforce that thought for you. I'm not talking like, the universe is going to conspire, but your brain is going to do a bunch of subtle different things that's going to, it's going to look for those things to point out to you. Oh, hey, look, you messed up, made a mistake here. You're dumb. You made a mistake here. You're dumb. You got this wrong. You're dumb. You had a conversation with somebody and you said the wrong thing. You're dumb. And then pretty soon your brain is constantly trying to figure out how to reinforce that negative thought that you put into it. And so we got to change the script, right? We got to change the script in that instance. So what do we do? Well, one of the techniques that one of my good friends taught me was to pause and rephrase it. So if I make a mistake or I get something wrong or I don't do something right, the quick thing that sometimes we do with my own kids is we'll say, okay, stop. Let's try to say that again so that it's more of a learning experience as opposed to just, dumping on yourself as far as, what you are, you're saying that you're a bad person. So how can you rephrase it? And that's a great thing, is because now your brain is actually picking apart, okay, I don't want this one thing, and now instead I'm going to gravitate towards something else. Because your brain's really going to remember only the last thing that you said to it, right? The second thing, three keys to how, a great mental diet are going to be those that you surround yourself with. One of my favorite business authors said that you are the CEO of your life. You can promote, demote, or terminate, and I mean exit them out of your life, not actually terminate them. Terminate people from your life. And if there are negative people in your life, it's time to turn the dial down on the sound that you're getting from them. If it's a friendship, it's a toxic friendship, it might be time to end it. If you're, I hate to say it, if you're in a relationship, where that it's not serving you and it's a toxic relationship, it might be time to, move maybe away from them or find some way to insulate that real person out of your life. Or if it's a family member, it might be time to just limit your exposure to them. I know that next week we're about to have the great, traditionally we have the great family get-togethers. Maybe we're not doing it so much this year because of Corona. However, I do know that typically, that's where it's where entrepreneurial dreams go to die. You know what I mean? Like if you want to kill an idea that you have, tell one of your family members at Thanksgiving about it, and they'll tell you every person that they know that failed at it. You know what I mean? And so sometimes it might be time to turn the dial down or limit your exposure to even family members that don't push you forward. And so the first thing being what you tell yourself day in and day out. The second thing being those that you surround yourself with. The third thing, I'm frozen up here. The third thing is visualizing. And so one of the most important parts of the right mental diet is visualizing and constantly reinforcing and creating more concrete your ideal outcome. So like whatever it is that you want for your life, or even a specific thing, if it's fitness, ideally seeing what your strength goal, like I want to be able to pick up this, or I want to be able to play with my kids without being winded, or whatever, that visualization, you want to create it as clearly, you want to create it as concretely as you possibly can. Those are definitely the three things. So again, what you tell yourself day in and day out, those people that you surround yourself with, and number three, visualizing your ideal outcome. Those are the three key components to a mental diet. So my question for you tonight is, on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to rate your own mental diet, right? I want you to rate your own mental diet. Are you doing all three of those things? You can tell me in the comments if you want, you can PM me if you want, or you just keep it to yourself. But it's definitely one of those things where you got to do some self-reflection. I have gone through periods myself where my own self-talk was not great. And it took me actually a couple of years to break out of it before I was like, okay, I feel more like myself again. And I've been getting back to, and then to get back to, whatever it is that I wanted to get back to, And the second thing is on a scale of 1 to 10, rate your child's mental diet. Like, what are the inputs that going into? And so I can tell you that in early childhood, a child's social value comes from their parents. So a lot of times they won't, whether or not they feel like things are going well, or, it comes from whether or not their parents see them as doing well. And I can tell you that as they get into adolescence, though, their social value comes from their peer group. So first of all, if you're looking at what is your child's mental diet, well, let's start with ourselves, because like I said, if you're in early childhood, a lot of their social value comes from their parents. So are you feeding the right mental diet? Are you modeling, number one, and teaching positive self-talk day in and day out? Are you being careful of who you surround your children with? And of course, are you helping them to visualize what their ideal outcome is going to be? As they get into adolescence, and they start, that social lens starts shifting from their value coming from the parents to their peers, which is a natural part of life. That's when you got to start looking at, okay, well, who are the people that are around my kids? Are they the type of people that I would want them to be like? Because the people that they're around are who they are going to end up modeling, consciously or unconsciously, who they're going to end up modeling in the future. And it's very important that you make those, we help them make the right decisions on that. So if this was useful information for you, do me a solid. I would like you to share this post, and I will actually send you our free mental health assessment and find out, hey, that even covers, a good, healthy mental diet. And so just share it, and I will actually send you the link right over. All right, guys. I hope that you had a great Monday, and I can't wait. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.